Okay, so, to get things started, let's hop into our galaxy map. And what I actually want to do is I want to do a little bit of exploration here in an area that we have not previously been to. Because there is one mission, or technically set of missions, that you can get. There are 2 or 3 ways in which you can actually get it in your journal. However, the easiest way is actually just by exploring. And so, it is right over here, the Armstrong Nebula. Let's head over in this direction.
The brass at Arcturus. Patching it through.
Normandy? Admiral Hackett here. We're getting reports of a marked increase in Geth activity in the Skyllian Verge. Surveillance drones have identified Geth outposts on 4 different planets in the Armstrong cluster. We need someone to take them out.
Okay, Geth, you say? That is certainly something we have gained some experience with. Any more information about this?
We have any idea what they're after?
Hard to say. They may be just gathering intel on us. Or maybe they're setting up staging grounds for hit-and-run attacks on human colonies.
Okay. I mean, yeah, you can count on us, but, I don't know. If they've got several outposts there, then there is a chance that it could mean something more than just the occasional ambush on human colonies.
It could be the first wave of an invasion.
Let's hope not. We need someone to investigate this, Shepard. Finding Saren is still your top priority, but you've got experience fighting the Geth. You're the logical choice to take out these outposts.
Exactly. Alright.
We're transmitting all the locations of known Geth outposts in the Armstrong cluster to the Normandy now. Admiral Hackett out.
Okay. So, this is our first time in the Armstrong Nebula, and it seems to be quite big. We have 4 different areas we can go to. Gagarin, Tereshkova, Hong, and then Vamshi. And so, I think what we're going to find is we're more or less going to eventually make our way over to just about all of these places. But, how about we, say, begin with something like... what if we do... Let's go here. Let's go... You wanna go... Yeah, let's go Gagarin. Why not? Why not? Okay, so that is a very bright-looking star. Let's take a look at what the planets are like here. So we have Junthor, which is an interesting color. Junthor is a large terrestrial planet with a thick atmosphere of carbon dioxide and chlorine. The surface is mainly composed of aluminum, with deposits of nickel. Surveyors found the ruins of a technical civilization near the equator, evidently a colony of an ancient spacefaring race. Ruins have subsided to almost nothing, merely wind-hollowed husks of archaeologies and other megastructures. Or arcologies? In the center of the ruins was a single column whose inscriptions defied translation for several centuries. When Asari linguists finally managed a translation, the elaborate relief carvings said merely, "Walk among these works and know our greatness." That is scary. The crude scratches on the base of the reverse side said, "Monsters from the id." What about monsters from the ego? It is quite cold. Although otherwise somewhat Earth-like in terms of gravity and atmospheric pressure, but whatever was living there must have had some resistance to that cold, or at least maybe, didn't it say on the equator? Maybe it's a little bit warmer there? Anyways, we can survey this planet, and we get Matriarch's writings. Scans revealed a wreckage freighter orbiting one of Junthor's smaller moons. The recon team found no signs of life, but they did recover one of Matriarch Dalinaga's writings. Okay. Now we have Presha. and Prussia is a relatively small hydrogen-helium gas giant with large amounts of hydrocarbons in the middle layers of the atmosphere. When the Krogan rebellions ended 3 millennia ago, the Turian chief of naval operations, a distinguished soldier named Mercury, declared his immediate retirement. He disappeared into what was then uncharted territory. It was only 200 years ago that his ship was found on the surface of Prussia's largest moon. It had landed gently and been deliberately shut down. Of Admiral Mercury, however, no trace was ever found. Very mysterious. Next planet out, we have Rayingri. And Rayingri is a small, barren terrestrial world. While it possesses a reasonably temperate climate and number of useful resources, no mining corporation is willing to risk investment. A rogue planetoid, dubbed Vids by the initial Solarian surveyor team, entered the system approximately 10,000 years ago and was trapped in a decaying orbit around Rayingri. It is nearing the end of its slow spiral inwards. Earthquakes and cyclonic windstorms are increasingly common on Rayingri. And so basically what that means is that there are 2 planets that are orbiting each other, except that is not a sustainable orbit. They are gradually getting closer and closer to one another until they will eventually collide. So basically, nobody wants to go there because they think that it is extremely dangerous, and understandably so. Within a few hundred years, the planets will rip each other apart, or technically, I guess not actually collide, but they'll get so close that the force of their gravity will start to, rip them apart. Some Asari travel consortiums have already announced sponsorship of cruises to observe the spectacle. That's grim. It is hot, but otherwise it's somewhat Earth-like in terms of atmosphere and gravity. So that is ultimately the place where we'll be able to land. But let's at least see what other planets there are in this system before we do. There's Solgarus. Solgarus is a small terrestrial planet with a thin atmosphere of nitrogen and argon. The frigid surface is mainly composed of water ice, which can be plainly seen in the bottoms of recent craters. The dark coloration of the surface is caused by a carbon and ferrous material, pushed up from the denser core by cryovolcanic processes. That's cool. Nothing we can do there, though. Last planet, looks like it's Anti-Rumgon. What about the normal Rungon? Anti-Rumgon is a small rock and ice planet with a trace atmosphere of methane and ethane. Frozen surface is mainly composed of carbon with deposits of calcium. Anti-Rumgon has been used as a crude anchorage for terminus pirates for many years. Shells of temporary dwellings blasted by alien frigate patrols dot the surface. But always, pirates return to ground their ship's drive charges, ship out some ice water, and trade slaves and stories. The deeper layers of Anti-Rumgon's interior are semi-liquid slush due to the presence of methanol. It is thought that bacterium in the deep core create this natural antifreeze. So, life? Some species of terminus pirate drill through the ice crust to recover this natural alcohol. Also, alcohol. Alright, but we can survey this. It is quite cold. As they were saying that it is, well, extremely cold surface temperatures, understandably. Light metal surveyed. Scans from orbit have detected a deposit of cobalt. Okay. Nice. So now, let's set our sights on Rayingri. And let's make our way over. Okay, so what do we know about this mission here? We actually haven't checked our journal entry, but based on what Admiral Hackett has told us, it is a Geth outpost of some variety, so that would suggest that we should expect a fair number of Geth, not so surprisingly, and that means we probably want to take some people who are more skilled in the tech side of things, because that tends to work better against synthetic enemies, things like overload, sabotage, and what have you. So that means top of the list is perhaps someone like Tally, so I think we may want to add her to the squad, and then also, in this occasion, that would mean we want to continue along the tech lines. We'd either be going Garrus or Caden. I'm thinking we go Garrus, so that way we have at least some combat abilities. Otherwise, with Caden, we'd have quite literally 0. So let's go with this. And this is very, very red, and I believe that we just saw as we were landing, right behind us right now, is that other planet that is very close to being on a crash course with Rayingri. So this looks pretty epic. Yeah, understandable why people would not want to be hanging out on this planet if that thing is headed straight for us. And also, even on this side, the sun looks very, very scenic. Let's take a look, though, at our map, and maybe our journal as well. Let's look at our journal first, because, like I was saying, we technically have not read up on this yet, but this is our new mission. Geth have begun setting up a number of small outposts in the Armstrong cluster of the Skillian Verge. We must eliminate these outposts before the incursion becomes a full-scale invasion. So, simply, eliminate the Geth outposts. Eliminate all 4 Geth outposts identified in the Armstrong cluster. The outposts are located in the Gagarin, Tereshkova, Hong, and Vamshi systems. So we're in Gagarin now, more specifically on Rayingri. And let's see, so this is where we are. We're on sort of the edge of the northern edge of the map. Then we have an anomaly down here. We have an overrun research outpost, which I would imagine is the place where we're expecting to run into the primary force of Geth. And then we have debris over here. And I'm thinking, as is often the case, we do our typical circle of some variety. And I'm feeling like we go back to our counterclockwise ways. Although, actually, let's at the very least just mark... Oh, not that. Not that. Mark that. And yeah, it is... I mean, oftentimes we'll see, when we're just exploring the galaxy map, we'll find planets that are sort of extravagant colors and what have you, but sometimes when we actually land on the planets, they don't seem all that unusual, but this is definitely very red. No question. Technically, I do think that some areas have reused assets, if you will, or at least their topography is identical. And sometimes the scenery, or whatever you want to call it, the backdrop that you see if you look up into the sky is the same from one planet to the next. But that one we have not seen before, I think is fairly safe to say. We actually do see a question mark here that I'm not sure we had on our map. No. I mean, this one that we've marked is way further south than where we currently are. So this was unknown to us. It looks like a crashed probe of some variety. It's a scavenger corpse? That's a little darker. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Hello? Discovery. The burnt corpses, evidently a mom and pop independent salvage team, show signs of close-range hits from Geth-heavy particle beams. Oh. Okay, then. So, in case there was any question as to whether they're a Geth here, it sounds like they're a Geth here. And, we'll just casually run them over while we're at it. Yeah, man. May not have necessarily picked the most efficient route through here. This is going to be toward the edge of the map once we start going further this way, but it does look like it's a more gradual slope. So it would at the very least, theoretically, be a little bit easier to get over this thing. And I'm going to try going further toward the edge once more, but Joker may start to get mad at us.
You need to turn back,
Yep.
Commander. You're going beyond the range of the operational area.
Alright, if you insist. Although, at this point, it's going to be rather tough to get ourselves out of this corner, I'm afraid. Like, that's just not happening. We may just be best served to double back here a little bit and opt not to try to go over the steepest mountain that we've seen thus far, at least on this planet. So, hold on just a second here. Let's maybe go a little bit more on the interior and just completely ignore that mountain altogether. Much better. Much, much better. And so, of course, we'll have to keep our eyes peeled for signs of Geth. At least in theory, the base is somewhere right around the middle of this area. So I don't know if we're going to find more Geth above and beyond that. There is another question mark over here. It is in the same general direction as our custom marker, although the marker looks like it might be placed further down than that. So this might be another random one that we did not know about in advance. It does seem like it. Now, what do we have here?
Heading out.
Not gonna lie, Tally's saying that did startle me quite a bit. So we've got almost a little base here. And there is a crate with a sniper rifle and a biotic amp. Okay. Scavengers who made this camp are gone. They seem to have abandoned it abruptly some time ago. Perhaps it was in fact the quote-unquote mom and pop that we ran into in the other direction. Let's take a quick look at our equipment there, though, because those biotic amps are tough to come by. And I believe it was one from Serta. So was it... It was this? Probably the 7? So, better than this one that we had previously. Better cooldown bonus is the thing that improves. But probably still... not as good. Well, I suppose matter of personal preference between this one and the Gemini amp. But seeing as how we are the only people in our current group who use biotic amps, I think we gave ourselves a decent one. Probably means we don't need to be changing that over here. Looks like we're going to run into some minerals here, though. Right on top of the question mark that we actually did make a point of marking. It's the minerals we didn't know about, but the question mark obviously we did. What is this one? Might want to approach with some caution here. Can you tell? From this angle? I mean, the minerals look fine. In theory, that question mark is a little bit further in that direction. So, can't really see anything from this angle. Let's take whatever this is. Polonium. Okay, I like this spot. There we go. Successfully surveyed it. So what is the deal here? Hello? Pretty steep drop-off. Rather not do that drop-off unless we absolutely have to, because it'll be a pain to get back up here, but, you know, I suppose we're headed in that direction anyway. So, if you insist, what do we have here? Oh? Looks like it's another probe of some variety. I mean, the last one we saw was really just the mom and pop, not actually a probe that we could salvage. So it's a crashed escape pod. Let's go, I guess, here. Ooh, oh. There we go. A medallion recovered. This down pod contained a Legion of One medallion. Its owner is nowhere to be found. Okay. Sure thing. And that was the place that we marked. So let's take another look at our map here. Because in theory, we don't know of anything further south. So why don't we just mark basically the southeastern corner of the map? We'll head in that general direction. And if we happen to come across anything else, then great. Just gonna check this corner first. Doesn't look like there's anything else though. Yeah, so let's head over toward the marker now. But at least in terms of enemies, it's been quite quiet so far. No signs of any either organic or synthetic enemies of any variety. So it may be that at least until we come across the actual Geth base, that we will have things relatively calm and peaceful here. Just, you know, taking the scenery. If it wasn't for this planet that was about to crash into this thing, then this might be a nice place to hang out. The scenery is lovely. So again, let's just maybe not force ourselves to go straight up that mountain if we can avoid it. Maybe we can go around it a bit. Okay, there is another set of minerals over there. Definitely we'll get those soon. Let's just make sure we confirm if there's anything in this corner first. Which may mean that we need to go a little bit further up. Although not far. Because we can practically see that distance already. And looks pretty empty to me. Empty indeed. Okay, so now we go racing down toward those minerals. And we'll basically just start heading northward. And let's see, where exactly are you? You might be a little bit on elevation here, so let's, while we have this opportunity, gain some ground. I think that's it right there. It's thorium.
Cover me.
Here we are. Let's go here. Ooh, bad timing. There we have it. There we go. Now we can get into the Mako. Let's reset a marker here. And I think we'll just... we're actually quite close to the base at this point, assuming this is it. But I think we'll just continue our loop, and then once we get to basically the place where we started, which is right around here, we'll go straight down and check this out. I think that's the plan. That being said, you know, if they do have an actual base, then we might need to assess what the most effective angle of approach might be. Could be that one side is more heavily guarded than another, or at least has better or worse cover than another. And this is just not looking like a great way to carry on here. Let's try going a slightly different route. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, Mako. You can do it. Yeah, that's comparatively not as bad, although I'm not really sure I want to go all the way down there. Then again, it does seem as though whoop, our marker over there, or our debris, is certainly in this direction. What is this? Just random dark spot? I don't actually think it's anything. Although it is somewhat close to the thing we're looking for here. It's a little bit further. It's this. Which is a crash probe. Let's check it out. There's a wall of stuffs here to stop us from getting in. And it is pretty well spaced out here. Ooh, just barely snuck in. Okay, incendiary rounds, combat scanner. Thought we'd started to get a little tiny bit of level 8 items. Definitely still getting the vast majority at level 7. Thought once or twice we got level 8. Might need to get our characters leveled up once or twice more before that becomes a consistent pattern, though. That would be nice. I think we've been on level 7 for a while now. In that, you know, we're getting a lot of items that are roughly the same power. But it's a little bit tricky for us to get improvements, upgrades, unless we happen to get equipment from rare manufacturers, which we have started to get more of. So that's really been our breakthrough in that regard. Okay, so now we've made it to the northern part. So let's start heading back westward, and we see some minerals here. And this is not that far away from where we first landed here. I'm a little surprised we didn't see this when we first landed on the planet. What do we have? Titanium. This is wide open. Let's take that. Okay. And I think we probably still do go a little bit further in this direction. But then we will find ourselves, more or less, where we first grounded on this planet. I would say set foot, but then again, did we really set foot? Set Mako? I think it's basically this flat area here, this plain, if you will. So now that we're here, let's start heading more or less straight down from this angle. And we have, of course, at this stage, gone through the perimeter, and so most of the things that we've yet to see are in this central-ish area. Hard to say exactly how far our range of our view was when we were going around the perimeter, because, like, for example, this was pretty steep, and so this really part over here was steep, so we went a little bit more toward the interior here. So we might have had a better look at some things over here, whereas we cut inside a bit around here as well, I suppose. So, yeah, by the time we make our way over to where we're expecting the main base to be, that may mean that we've more or less seen just about all the planet, may not have missed anything. That's the hope, at least. Like I said, we're going to want to try to think about, is this a helpful angle of approach if we are, in fact, going to find ourselves fighting a lot of Geth? If they're positioned outside, then that is a useful thing to bear in mind. This is a very steep mountain-ish, or cliff face here, really. Almost looks like we might be able to get up if we go across here. Although actually the base is further in this direction, which looks a little bit harder to ascend. But perhaps if we can do it, we would find it helpful. Yeah, this looks a little bit easier now. Now we're getting close. Let's make it over this. Nice. Okay, I would say, I don't think we've saved yet here on this planet, so let's do so now. Because I'm expecting for us to get into a fight relatively soon, and Colonel is still highlighting here. Oh, valuable minerals. Yeah. Have we perhaps finished finding another type? We are now done with both gases and rare earths. I think rare earths is new. Or, as in, we only just recently completed that. So we just have heavy metals, which we have several left to go on that, and light metals were fairly close there. And as we have seen already with gases, there are more than just that limit, or there are more than just the amount that you are having to get for that mission. You know, you can go above and beyond if you'd like. Actually, more quests? Oh, we can do this. There we go. It's not that we won't continue to find those other types of minerals, it's just that it would be nice if we got the ones that we've not yet completed. So I'm thinking we may need to go backwards to go forwards here a little bit. Just to gain some elevation, this looks a little more feasible to go up this way. And then we shall see. You can see that little light there, I'm guessing is not a coincidence. That is probably part of their base, and, well... Oh, what do we have? Looks like they have an official pathway leading up to the base. They even have street lights. What kind? Does that mean, though, that this is the angle that they're expecting us to come from? Hello? Okay. Alright, so that is where we're seeing what appears to be the entrance to the base. And I'm guessing as soon as we round this corner, we may start to see some friends. Yeah, there's the minerals that we already got, and as we were thinking, it's not very far away. Yeah, so this sound that you're hearing in the background, which I have now kind of sort of talked over on a couple of occasions, but maybe I'll pick it up every now and again. It is technically, I believe, the Song of the Rachni, or at least supposed to be. And so it shows up on actually a fair number of uncharted worlds that you can explore in more or less random locations, and it doesn't necessarily... There it is. Doesn't necessarily have ties to areas where you're actually going to run into Rachni. It is kind of just a coincidence which places it shows up. Unless, you know, I suppose from a deep lore standpoint, you could make the case that perhaps that means that once upon a time there were Rachni here. But who knows? Anyways, so this is where things get a little hectic. Okay, I remember this. So you may recall we have seen these structures previously. One place in particular very much comes to mind. And, we may not have picked the best of teams for this situation. So there's an entrance console there. You remember these? There are a lot of them. A whole lot of them. Let's, yeah. Let's just take a second here. Make sure the team is good to go. Just saying. Maybe that's worth doing. Let's see. So Garrus, I think we're about to head into a base. Gonna be more so in the medium to short range type of situation, so yeah, an assault rifle is probably gonna be more so your thing rather than your alternative sniper rifle. Let's see. Have a better option here, or do you have the best one? Seems like we could actually go higher damage. We went with the Kobolyov, which I might prefer. Yeah, I mean, you sacrifice a little bit of accuracy, you gain a lot of heat sink capacity, and you definitely gain damage, so I'd make the case that is probably an upgrade. Technically, I think those are supposed to be the same variety of manufacturer, so they're sort of supposed to just be a matter of personal preference, but that's, I think, still quite tilted more towards this one that we just switched to. So then, with Tally on your shotgun, this is another one where technically I think it is the same rarity manufacturer, and you could increase the damage by a ton here, but that is a pretty big sacrifice on the heatsink front. The accuracy, probably negligible, that difference, but I think I'm gonna stick with what she has for now. Just take another look at our Omni Tools. Wow. So Omni Tool is very important for Tally because she is our tech expert. She is our engineer. So she is the one who's using the most tech abilities. So if we are going to prioritize putting the best Omni Tool on someone, it should either be us, just because we're using us all the time, of course, or second option, or arguably first option, should be Tally, because although we may not have her all the time, she's using more tech abilities even than we are. So, yeah, at the very least, Cypher Tool 7 looks good. That's a lot of shield bonus. Yeah, med recharge bonus, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I would think tech cooldown bonus would very much be the thing we'd be looking for with her. So it might even mean that Chameleon Tool 4 is preferable. Because I don't think 5 shields are going to make a very big difference for Tally when she has a bunch of abilities that give her 30 shields per level, and we've taken already several of those. So that's going to be negligible, that difference, and then the med recharge bonus I think is also arguably completely insignificant. So might be more or less the only thing that matters is the tech cooldown bonus, so let's make that switch. Armor-wise, yeah, you definitely have the best stuff. Then for us, this is Omni Tool again, all of a sudden. One sec, wait, why did we not see Logic Arrest with Tally? Oh, maybe we did, but we just put it aside because we were saying tech cooldown bonus was probably the most important thing. So even though this looks like it may perhaps be the best Omni Tool overall of the things we have, it just doesn't really do the thing that she's looking for it to do. Not a great fit. In fact, what if we went with logic arrest? And that's not great for us either, to tell you the truth. I mean, shields, maybe a little more meaningful for us. Med recharge bonus also maybe a little bit more relevant, but we do also like the tech cooldown for us too. And oh, well, this is just a better version of our current amp, so sure, let's do that. Okay, I think we're good there. Garrus, you also can use an Omni tool. And asking ourselves the same question, we are very much using those chameleons. I think we're probably still sticking with what he has. Yeah, so I think we're all set and ready to go there. Okay. So here goes nothing. Let's just walk up to this inconspicuous looking entrance console. And... okay, so it's the typical science station layout here, where we have this small entrance room, and then we have the larger main room after that, and then a couple of back rooms once we get through there. So I'd imagine if we are going to run into enemies, which I have to imagine we are, runs of them are probably going to be here, if not potentially even all of them over there. So let's be on our guard here. These look like things we can loot, although apparently we cannot. Sad face. And loot this, though. This way. There we go. That is a good shotgun. At the very least. Might be worth taking a quick look at. Might even be the one that we have equipped on Tally right now. I don't remember if it was... no, was this one? Oh, hold on. What? Yeah, we should probably use this. Much better damage, better heatsink capacity, marginally worse accuracy. Do that. Anything else we can loot in here? Yes. That weapons locker. Not sure we can unlock any of these other containers. Okay, in this one we get... could be a decent sniper rifle. That would be something we want to look at for Garrus. So it may be the same one he currently has. Punisher, higher accuracy, lower damage. Yeah, I think we're probably sticking with what we have. Oh no, this is the one we just picked up. And yeah, Rosenkopf materials. I thought that this was on the same level as Casa and one other that is, I thought was that same tier. But and Armax. I thought Casa, Armax, and Rosenkopf were all the same, but it looks like fairly consistently we're seeing that Rosenkopf is a little bit better than those, at least by my estimation. Seeing as how, once again, better damage, better heatsink capacity, marginally worse accuracy, but so little of a difference that probably doesn't make much of a difference at all. Not that we're expecting to use said sniper rifle in here anytime soon, but make sure that we don't have any other of these crates that we can actually loot, because they look like they should be lootable, but I don't think they are. And we do see enemies in here. We're expecting Geth. Trying to see if we can try to estimate how many there are. It's at least 5. I'm thinking there are probably going to be more than that. Let's maybe... what if we preemptively do barriers and shield boosts and what have you? Might be worth doing just to play it a little bit safe here. Kind of hoping that they would immediately flood through and then we could just back up and use this as a choke point. But maybe we send out someone else to be our sacrificial lamb instead. And I think that actually Allie is our tankiest character here, crazy as that sounds. She has so many shields. Can you, like, actually go over there and get their attention?
No can do.
Okay, well, apparently they didn't care. Because there's a huge wall here, that's why. Alright, yeah, they are just loaded up on the other side of this wall. I'm thinking we try to... Whoa! Okay, it's actually husks, as it turns out. So, not Geth, per se. Let's maybe... I'm thinking some crowd control abilities will be very useful here. Let's focus on blasting you. I thought Garrus was Hux for a second. I was like, oh, how did they get so close? And yes, I do think we're starting to get flanked, or at least we will eventually get flanked. So this may, in fact, make sense for us to retreat through here. Meanwhile, Garrus is doing exactly the opposite of what I just told him to do. Oh, no, okay. Looks like he was trying to go all one-man army on them. They're moving still, but are they going for us? Yep. I mean, we've got a nice, long corridor to shoot them from over here. So this definitely works well. Was that the last of them, though?
Perimeter clear.
At least, of the ones we could see, I'd like to believe that was at the very least the vast majority of them. Maybe not all per se, but I think that generally speaking, as soon as we get one Husk's attention, they all start to swarm. And that's why we saw they all rush through that area.